It has finally arrived. We received our first batch of 2026 Hyundai Palisades, and today I'm going straight to the top, the cream of the crop. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you some of the best features that make the Palisade Calligraphy not just one of the best family haulers on the market today, but also what makes it one of the best for possibly the next few years to come. And before I dive on in, I just wanna let you know, if you happen to live in or around Orlando and are trying to get the hookup on this or any other Hyundai, make sure you click the little link below that says schedule with Miguel, make an appointment, and then come on in so I can save you the most amount of money I can to help you with your next Hyundai purchase. But now that you know that, let's go ahead and get started on the calligraphy. I want to start with the design. The Palisade just looks amazing. They made it boxier without making it a box. Now, the Hyundai Santa Fe, which is another Hyundai 3-row, does have a lot of room on the inside, and a lot of people feel that that design is very polarizing. You either love it or you absolutely despise it, but the Palisade, from every angle, whether it's the front, the rear, or even down the sides, they have a little bit of pizzazz to really make it stand out from the crowd. Something that Hyundai prides themselves in is listening to the feedback that their customers actually give them, and one of the biggest things customers wanted were folding mirrors out of everything. And something else that it has is called Smart Parking Assist. So if you push the button on the side of the key, the Palisade can move itself in or out of a parking spot, in and out of a garage, or just get to wherever it needs to be. You no longer need to go to Walmart to buy a remote control car. Just come to a Hyundai dealership, buy a Palisade. On a side note, Hyundai has been winning the very prestigious Red Dot Design Awards for many years for many of their vehicles because they have such a good design language. That means that no matter how much or how little you spend on your next Palisade, you can be proud to hop into it. Now, those eagle-eyed among you might have already noticed that this Palisade looks a little different. And that's because it is. This one is not a calligraphy. This is a limited. And let me tell you how I know that. Some people might say that a Palisade is a Palisade, and in a sense that's true because they have the same space, safety, and overall general good looks. But if you look at the details, you will notice some differences. Like on the Limited, you have this black grille, and on the lower half of the car, not just on the front, but also on the back, you'll see these glossy black trim pieces, and you can really notice it on the side of the car around the wheel arches. But if you look back at a calligraphy, which this whole video is about, you're going to notice a few details. The grille is a little bit more intricate. You also have one full body color instead of having the little glossy trim pieces, and the rims are not only upgraded from 20 to 21 inches, but you have this unique design. And like my mom used to say, what's on the outside might get you to the door, but it's what you have within you that gets you to the Ultra. And the 2026 Palisade is a good example of that, especially when you pop up the hood, because once you actually see the engine on this specific Palisade, you're going to notice that they still have a V6. So if you're of a certain vintage or feel more comfortable with what you know, the 26 Palisade will still give you the V6 power you can count on. But if you want to go ahead and maximize everything, around the end of 2025, and for the first time ever, you'll be able to get a Palisade Hybrid. Somehow the Palisade Hybrid is going to average over 30 miles per gallon and yet crank out over 300 horsepower, which is incredible. And the best part is that you still have the Hyundai warranty to back you up. The powertrain coverage is 10-year or 100,000 miles, which does cover the hybrid components if that's the route you want to go. Now, with the bold new design, the refined technology, and finally some engine choice, everybody's been saying that the 26 Palisade is pretty grown up, which is true, but I feel the appropriate phrase is grown out because it's a little bit longer and even a little bit wider than the outgoing model. And I feel that you can see how cavernous it is once you actually fold down the rear and middle rows, which for the first time ever is fully electrified. They can go down and then back up just by pushing a button. Really cool. Now, if you're wondering about the people room, you can go ahead and fold those third rows back up and see how spacious it actually is. Besides having a ton of room in the third row, a few other things that you're going to find are the USB-C 100-watt chargers, so if you have the appropriate cable, your phone will charge ultra quickly. Another cool thing in the third row is that you have heated seat functionality and recline, which is some things that you actually did find in the previous generation, but for the first time ever, in the Palisade 2026 Calligraphy, the third row is actually adjustable, so the seat not only reclines, but it can actually slide a little bit forward or back. So if you need a little bit more room in the third row, it's not totally reliant on the second row to be super nice to you. And it's not just the third row that can slide and recline a good little bit. Actually, every single seat in the Palisade Calligraphy can recline and slide a little bit. And for the front two rows, you even have a specialized button for the relaxation mode. All you have to do is hold a button on the side of the seats, and then the seats will actually dip down a little bit and recline considerably, which means that on a long road trip, if everybody in the car needs a little bit of R&R, It's just a push of a button away. Now, if you think you might like the third row, you might end up loving the second row because you have all those features plus a few more things. Not only do you have these little sunshades on the side to get privacy or a little bit more refuge from the sun, but arguably, Hyundai actually moved the air conditioning controls to a much more convenient spot here on the ceiling. Not only can you control the temperature and speed of the air conditioning coming out of the ceiling, but you can do it for the seats themselves because they have heating and cooling functions already built in. Another great thing that I love about the middle row is the ease of access to charging. Just like the back row, you have USB-Cs on the sides of the front two seats, which, believe it or not, is a throwback to the original Palisade because that's where they debuted. And another great thing is that you do have a wall plug, so it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur that has low battery on your laptop and you need to respond to emails, or if you just have the back full of people with a lot of low batteries on their tablets, plug it in, juice it up, and you could alleviate a lot of people from having a meltdown. Not to mention, you have a ton of storage options here in the middle because every door does have this deep channel that you can stick your hand down. Not only do you have a cup holder, but you can also have a place for your phone. Behind the seats, you do have this little pull-out bungee thing that most vehicles have, and underneath the wall charger, you have this extra little compartment to put whatever it is that you desire. Now, so far in the video, I feel that I've been sitting here in the very comfortable second row, and I really haven't told you everything about the car, like the calligraphy headrest, because of the pillow type headrest here in the back. But I want to focus on a safety feature that you will find in the second row. And no, I'm not talking about the reinforcement bars in the door, which it has, or the side curtain airbags, which it has. I want to tell you about something very interesting that you find on many Hyundais, including this calligraphy. It's called Safe Exit Assist. So here's a hypothetical. Let's say you're a parent of 2 or 3 children and you want to take them to the park because it is a beautiful day outside and you need them to burn off energy so that way they can take their nap. It happens, right? So you drive to the awesome park in town and they have street parking that you decide to take advantage of because it's a beautiful side of town, and a lot of places in America you can do that. That's where Safe Exit Assist comes in, because if you notice right here on this rear speaker on the rear door, there's an image right above it. It's kind of like a blind spot for the second row, so that way if you park on the street but there's a vehicle approaching you, it'll actually warn the people in the second row that there is a vehicle coming. But let's just say your kids are so hyped up to go swinging and go on the slides, they try to open up that door anyway. That's the beauty of Safe Exit Assist. It not only warns you, but it will actively assist to keep you and the people inside of your vehicle safe, so those back doors actually won't open, even if you pull on the handle, until that vehicle actually passes. And like I mentioned before, the Palisade Calligraphy 2026 is not the only Hyundai to bring it, but being that this is more of a family-focused vehicle, it's one of the best features you could possibly have. All right, finally, I made it to the front row, the driver's seat even, and I gotta say, it is a phenomenal place to be. The smart place to be is in the passenger seat because you don't have the responsibility of driving, but if you like that type of stuff like me, you have a lot of stuff at your fingertips. First and foremost, the first thing you'll probably notice not only is the comfort, but this massive integrated curved display that you find in a lot of Hyundai models now that include built-in navigation. But if you prefer to use Apple, Google, or Waze, you can actually use wireless Apple CarPlay in a Palisade. Now, another great thing is that since you have so much real estate on that touchscreen here on the side, you can actually see the 360-degree camera view with the 3D camera function, so you know exactly where you're going and what you're doing, whether you're going forward or backwards in a parking lot. Another great thing is that you still have the blind spot monitor, which I like to call blinker cam, so whether you put on the left or the right blinker, you can see what's on the left or right side of the car, so you could visually make sure without having to break your neck that nobody's there to frighten you. Another great thing is that you do have a lot of comfort features. Just like the middle row, you do have seats up here that can heat and cool down. Obviously, being the driver's side, you're also going to have warming steering wheel, so that way if it's a little chilly out there, you can get your little Piggly's nice and cozy. Another great thing is that once we move to the middle console, you have a few secrets. Not only do you have the super fast USB-C chargers that I was telling you about, but you also do have the wireless charger for your phone, and yes, you do have digital key too. Digital Key 2 allows you to turn your cell phone into your key fob. Another great thing is that you do have this new little button. It is UVC, Ultraviolet Cleanser. And if any of you know from the Santa Fe videos that I've made, by the way, you should probably subscribe, you know that the Santa Fe has the same exact feature. So if you want to sanitize your keys or your phone or anything that needs to be sanitized, you can open up this little middle section, put whatever it is in there that you need to be sanitized, close it up, and you'll have these 3 little LEDs on each side that'll make sure a lot of little nasties that were on there don't exist anymore. Now, as a driver, you're going to want to have the best situational awareness that you can when you're driving the vehicle. But let's say you have a lot of cargo or a lot of people, big fat heads, and you can't see through their rear view. No problem, because the Palisade Calligraphy also does have digital rear view mirror that you just flip this little switch underneath and you will see the camera view of what's behind the car, even if the inside view is a little obstructed. Now, another great thing is that if you do have a lot of stress in your day and the weight of the world's on your shoulders and it's messing up your back, you can love this next button. This is their ergo motion function. So that way, it's kind of like a massage. If you've ever seen like a kitten making biscuits, that's kind of what it feels like, and you can have it focus on your back, your pelvis, or your whole body. So that way, your Palisade will be one of the few things in your life that can actually help de-stress you in these crazy and troubled times. But wait, there's more. Yes, I am not done. Not only do you have relaxation modes in most of the seats of the car, not only do you have ergo motion driver seat, that's gonna help you physically de-stress, but something that can help you emotionally de-stress might be the Bose sound system. So if you're just having a rough day or if you're trying to have a great night, crank up the tunes and let the Bose do their thing. Another first on the Palisade Calligraphy is actually a very cool piece of kit. It is the built-in dash cam. Palisades are not the only vehicle on the market to bring dash cams, but they are one of the few to do it so cleanly, because as opposed to being just a stuck-in afterthought like on some cars here, you actually have it integrated behind the glass, so it looks oh so clean. If you're a busy person and you prefer to set it and forget it, there is an automatic mode for the dash cam. But if you happen to be waiting for somebody, set it in live stream so you can see what's going out in front of you and behind you, being as low key as possible. And for those recordings that you actually make, you can go and review those recordings to see not only what was recorded, but where it was recorded, which is super useful. So in case you ever need to pull up the footage, it is all at your fingertips. Something else that makes the Palisade oh so easy to drive is the heads up display. It is great for those busy cities or interstates. So if you want to feel like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, or just make sure that you have the best situational awareness, the heads up display is going to be amazing. And so guys, those have been a lot of the coolest features on the 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy. And no, I didn't talk about every single little feature because it would take way too long and I'm too fun for that. But if you like these videos, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and leave me a few comments of what else you'd like to see in future videos. But till next time, I'm a Car Guy, and I'll see you soon.